Just give me some different types of faces.
Like what?
Yeah, like exactly. Here we go.
Hi, Marilla.
Hi, Natalie.
Do you know what we're doing today?
No freaking clue.
Have you ever heard of ChatGPT?
Yes.
So I want you to ask ChatGPT, teach me how to balayage.
Oh my gosh, okay. Hey, it's Marilla Manelli, and I'm with Kenra Professional. Today, I'm gonna have ChatGPT tell me how to balayage. Balayage is a popular hair coloring technique that creates a natural sun-kissed look. It involves hand painting highlights onto hair rather than using traditional foil or cap methods. While it's best to have a professional colorist perform a balayage for best results, 100% true, you can try a DIY approach at home with some guidance. Here is a step-by-step guide on how to balayage your hair. Am I doing this on myself?
Luckily, you're doing it on mannequin.
Okay, awesome. Supplies you will need: a balayage lightener. Choose a quality lightening product or bleach specifically designed for balayage. I feel like yes and no on this. I think clay is a traditional one, right, for balayage, but I feel like with all of the trends evolving, we've learned how to balayage with traditional lighteners, so that's a 50-50 for me. Developer, use the appropriate developer for your lightener. Typically 20 or 30 volume developer is suitable. Sure. Toning shampoo. To neutralize any unwanted brassy tones, have a toning shampoo on hand. Gloves, 100%, protect your hands. And a brush and bowl. Clips, plastic wrap, or foil. It just told me not to use foil in the first paragraph, so now we're using foil. Okay. Okay, number 8. An old shirt or cape. And number 9, a mirror. You'll need a mirror to see the back of your head. So I got all of my supplies that I needed according to ChatGPT, and the very first step is it wants me to choose the look that I'm gonna create. So it gave me the option of subtle face framing or all over bolder look. So we're gonna do something kind of in between. We're gonna do an all over subtle look. My mannequin's already clean and dry. She's as clean and dry as she's possibly gonna be, so I think we're good with step 2. Next is mix the lightener. So this is gonna be a little tricky for me because it doesn't tell me to use a scale. It just says mix it till it's a creamy consistency. So we're gonna see how this goes if I'm eyeballing it. Also, it's telling me to wear gloves before mixing, which I never do, but you should, because it's, you gotta protect your hands, but I just never do that. So I'm gonna just go with an even scoop, because I feel like that's probably what you would do at home. And I'm gonna go with 20 volume developer. It's pretty standard, 20 volume. We're just gonna go a little bit at a time here. I never eyeball my lightener, so I normally would recommend using a scale because you're gonna get consistency with each time you have to remix. And working in the salon, if your client comes back to you, you wanna have the same consistency every single time, so you have a predictability on timing too, so that your mixture ratio has a huge determining factor on the timing of processing. I'm gonna add a little bit more. So it was a little thick. I feel like it's not even at a 1-to-1 yet. So I got it to a pretty creamy consistency. I feel like this is pretty close to a 1-to-1, which I usually like for a balayage. I like my lightener a little bit thicker, but sometimes I use 1-to-2. It just depends on exactly what I'm doing. So next is telling me to section the hair into manageable sections and to work from the bottom right on up. It didn't tell me to use a comb? You're lying.
Check it. Check through it.
So there is no comb involved with this application? Is that how I need to apply it?
Yeah.
Okay. So no comb involved. I highly would recommend a sectioning comb, or at least a rat tail comb in this case. Clips alone aren't gonna do the trick for you. It's gonna help you section, but I feel like I'm not gonna be able to pick out the hair that I want as much, so we're gonna see how this goes. I literally thought there was a comb involved. No comb. All right, let's do this, ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by sectioning from the top behind the ear. That's like kind of my go-to sectioning. That just makes things a little bit more manageable for me. And I normally don't use clips to section, so we're just gonna be real organic with this. This is what the vibe I'm getting from this. So I'm gonna start out at the bottom and work my way up just like it says. I'm gonna go with some V sections here. I feel like these are manageable sections. Now, this is where you'd wanna use that weaving comb or something. So, I mean, you could pick up this whole piece of hair, but I kinda don't wanna do that. It's like a lot. I don't know, I think I'm gonna do a little shakeout motion. I don't know how to separate this. I guess depending, like if you want like hairline hair painting, we could do that and then like drop this down. Maybe we'll go with that since I can't, so we'll just take this whole section. It almost feels like the first time I colored hair right now, I'm not joking. This is why I like using a whisk to mix too, because my brush is all messy now. So, but we're gonna work with this. And I guess we're just using my brush and hands. So I'm just gonna kind of gradually move this lightener a little closer to the root area. And I'm kind of going for like a global application here, but still really subtle at the root. And I want more of that saturation right here towards the mids and ends. So I guess we're just using nothing but hands here. Okay, it literally told me to avoid lightening too close to the scalp, but I guess I forgot that part. I mean, I'm kind of not that close. It's like kind of close. I guess if you're like doing this at home, you totally do want to avoid that because then you're gonna get spotting. Okay, and then now it's telling me to wrap it in a foil. So what I would do, if I were to do the foil, I guess I would like drop this down. But I literally don't know how I'm gonna get this to stick, so maybe we'll add a little lightener right here so we can get more of that saturated piece at the ends there. And then I don't know how to make this work. There we go. I'm gonna show you on this other section here how I normally would do it in the salon using my rat tail comb and a balayage board, because you're gonna have a lot more control. Since it's already telling me to put it in a foil anyways, I would just do a foliage technique. So if you want a more professional take on what I'm doing on this side over here, this is how I would do it. So I would like to highlight that hairline area. So what I would probably do is weave out this top section because I like kind of don't need this. I would leave that for depth. Very similar to the other side, but it's just a little bit more controlled. And then for added depth, I would tease this just a little bit because this is what's gonna help avoid that color really close to the scalp area. And then this is where I would take my balayage board and add my foil to this and then push this hair right on up. And now you're gonna have a lot more control with your application. And I also feel like this is gonna give me more pow at the bottom here because I'm able to really get in here and open up this hair. I feel like the other side is more of a true balayage in the sense I have a lot of depth on the inside of it, but a lot of times if you're doing that yourself at home, that's where you can have a lot of mistakes and spotting and stuff kind of happening. So, and essentially again, if you're trying to put it in a foil, this is the way that I would go about it. And now look, this foil sticks way better than this side. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my next section here. See, I already got lightener right there. I think we're just gonna go a little horizontal here. You know what? I just can't like not have a comb. Can I use my clips to weave?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to create some depth, so that's why I used my comb to weave that drop out there. I don't really want to lighten this, but we're still gonna have that hair painting effect on this next section. I guess I'm just gonna use my hand. I don't really know how to do this. Like, I feel like this is gonna be more of like a wet balayage. That would have been great to do, but it didn't tell me to make it wet, so we're gonna go for this type of application here. I feel like this will probably be a little easier. That way I'm able to get the saturation I need. And then once I get this on, I wanna make sure that I have the blending on the underside too with my hands. I think I need a towel. No, it doesn't tell me I need a towel.
Right, here we go. No towel.
You're stuck.
Ah! Okay, I totally didn't think this through. Okay. Okay. We're gonna make this work. This is gonna look amazing. No comb, like what? ChatGPT fail. I'm actually not mad about the consistency though that I mixed up. We're gonna go for a different approach here on this one. I'm just gonna do some surface paint here first, but with a lot. And then I'll leave the saturated painting for last. Let's see how that works. Okay, that was like much better, but I don't know if this foil's gonna stick. Okay, even though my gloves are like full of lightener, I have to comb through this somehow, so we're gonna have a lot of surface lightening going on. So I would definitely recommend having a towel on hand and a comb. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going with this technique that I originally did, which was paint it on in this mid zone. I personally like keeping my painter's brush vertically here instead of like going in a horizontal motion if I am doing hair painting. I'm gonna get a much more seamless blend. And I do like using my hands because, you know, when you use your hands, you're really kind of like pushing that lightener into that surface zone. But you just wanna make sure that underside is nice and blended overall. And I'm just doing a zigzag section, so it's kind of like a slice and just like a big drop out here. I think on this section, I'm gonna have a little fun here and just kind of add a little V section for like added depth here in the center. I think that'll be kind of fun. I wanna wipe my hands so bad. Okay, so I'm on my, feel like last section here at the top. I'm gonna do another horizontal here. Oh my God, we're getting a little tingly. And that's because like the lightener from my hands is getting on that section, it's getting a little stuck here, so. Oh my God, I want to detangle this so bad. Okay, we're just gonna go for it. So I'm just like pushing this all the way up because I want a little bit of global coverage since this is living right behind where the hair is probably gonna fall over. So you get some brightness popping through from underneath. Okay, we're just losing foils over here. Okay, so I'm gonna split that piece and I'm gonna work on the front now. So I'm pushing that little section here that I had in the back towards the front. Got some detangling going on here. And we're gonna work in diagonal forward sections. That's usually like my favorite. And the reason why I usually like doing that is because if you wear the hair away from the face, we're gonna have like that global coverage right on that surface, which is gonna give that subtle type of sun-kissed feel. And I'm actually gonna take this whole section right here. So I'm gonna go a little higher here towards the base, keep this depth right here on the interior, and then saturate the ends. 10 out of 10, do not recommend using foil for this type of hair painting. I've already lost like 5 foils. So for this section, I'm gonna go back to having a little bit of dropout. And on this one, I think I'm gonna do a V because I wanna take some of the pieces up right here towards the crown area, and then obviously take it towards the face here, so but leaving that depth right in this area. I feel like this is going by pretty fast, actually. I think if you did want a separation tool instead of using the foil, I would probably go with like some saran wrap instead, or like some mesh type of foils, something that is gonna stick a little better than the foil. I feel like foil is if you are doing a foliage or traditional highlights. So my model clearly has bangs, so we're gonna leave those out for right now. And we're still sticking with that diagonal forward here. Now this section, I am probably gonna make some ribbons here. We'll go with that. Basically a W. We're making a little W right in this section. That's kind of like the beauty of hair painting too, is like you can be pretty organic with this and choose exactly where you want all of those blonde pieces to live. So hair painting can be super fun. Now she does have some fringe, so I'm gonna add in just a few little pieces, using my hands, of course. I just lost another foil. So, cause she's got this like really textured fringe, we're gonna leave all of like the underside kind of deep. So I'm literally just gonna pick up some little random pieces here and hair paint them. I feel like this brush is really big, like I normally would use a smaller brush. I'm gonna do this one right here. I'm not liking doing this with this brush. Yeah, I feel like I'm just like not really that organized because I can't use a comb to section it out. That's like my biggest hang up right now with doing this is like I don't have the control with all of the tools I normally would use. I don't think I realized like how important a comb is until today. So the next part was my processing time. We're gonna let her process now that I'm all done applying the lightener with the foils. It basically tells me to read manufacturer's instructions for the timing. So Beyond Bond is 45 minutes. So we're gonna let this process for 45 minutes. We're gonna see where it's at. And to be completely honest, sometimes we leave it less than 45 or sometimes we leave it on more than 45 because it just depends on like what we're doing behind the chair. So we're gonna see where it's at in 45 minutes and take this down. Overall, it tells me to avoid over processing. I think we'll be fine with 45 minutes and Beyond Bond because it has that dual bond stuff in it. So we're totally good there. And then we're gonna get ready to rinse her and I'll see you in 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes. Now it's time to check our foils. And it looks like we got some nice lift out of this. I'm not mad about it. Traditionally, in the salon, I would probably let it bake a little longer. But because it's a mannequin head, it's not really generating any heat from the scalp. So we're not gonna get as much lift as you normally would from an actual human. So this is what we're gonna work with. Now we're gonna go ahead and shampoo her out and go to the next step of what ChatGPT has in store for me. So the next step on ChatGPT is to rinse with cool water. So according to ChatGPT, it wants me to just rinse this out and go straight to the toning shampoo. So normally I would go in with a regular shampoo to help neutralize the lifting phase of the lightener because it's still wet. Even though we've rinsed it thoroughly, it's still in the hair. We need to wash it out. So that would essentially be the first step before doing a toning shampoo. I wouldn't go straight to that, but we're gonna follow ChatGPT. So I'm gonna use the Color Charge shampoo, and then I'm gonna add a few drops of the Violet Creative to make my own toning shampoo. And we're gonna make sure to get this all over, and hopefully this does the trick. This is the point in the appointment, if you are gonna use ChatGPT, that you gotta pray to the hair gods. But again, keep in mind that we do have this lightener still inside of her hair, so I feel like it's possibly not gonna do that great of toning just because it's mixing the lightener with the direct dye. It doesn't say how long to leave this in. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this and then do the next step, which is finishing off with a treatment. To finish it off, I'm gonna use the Rapid Hydration Mask in Rich, and this is only gonna stay on her hair for just 3 minutes. And I do agree with this step. I think that it's really important that you finish off all of your color services with the treatment, and I really do like the Rapid Hydration Mask just because it's a quick treatment that you can do in the salon, saving you so much time. It's also a great at-home treatment too. So the last and final step is to style the hair per usual. So ChatGPT is giving me a little freedom in this department. So I'm gonna go in with the blow dry spray so we can have some thermal protection throughout her hair and layer in the perfect blowout. Now that she's all blown out, I wanted to show you what it looks like before we go ahead and curl it. And overall, I think we achieved a really beautiful, subtle balayage result. And you can see the lightness throughout her hair. It is really subtle, it looks sun-kissed. You can really see those highlights right here along her face frame. So next I'm gonna curl her with a 1.5 inch curling iron. So we're gonna keep her curls a little on the larger side, just something subtle, and just to add a little bit of body and wave.
So how do you feel about your first experience with ChatGPT?
It actually wasn't too bad. I mean, there was definitely some hiccups along the road, like the comb thing and not having a towel to wipe my hands. So definitely some holes in the ChatGPT description, but overall, I think it turned out really good. But I also think that's because I have experience. I don't know if somebody typed that in and had zero experience and did it on themselves, if they would have the same result. The overall look turned out really great, surprisingly, considering I kind of had bleach all over my hands. But I think it looks really soft and subtle, exactly like we said we were gonna do at the beginning of the video, and I really like the result. I think that I'll probably use some of the ideas from what I did today, but I'm definitely gonna incorporate some towels and combs and other things. So I really hoped you enjoyed this video of creating a balayage using ChatGPT. If you like videos like these, let us know down below in the comments, and hopefully we can make some more of these. And like always, be sure to check out our other hair tutorials right here on this channel, and I will see you in the next video. I don't know.
That's good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?